Good afternoon, and thank you for choosing THV 11 News at 5:30. I'm Tamar Knight. With the weekend beginning to wrap up, things are still a bit seasonable with the temperatures going into the upper 90s and maybe even the hundreds sometimes this week. Meteorologist Noah Simmons has your forecast for today and your work week.
Well, if your Sunday was off to a great start, now we're going to turn the page to the upcoming work week here on Monday. Here's a look at that bus stop forecast. Temperatures into the morning are going to be into the 70s there, and we're probably going to be dealing with some pockets of rainfall, even some thunderstorms that can't be ruled out. Not everywhere is going to be seeing rain, though, by the time the kids are off to school. Even by lunch recess, might have to deal with that recess inside as we'll be dodging a few of those showers. Temperatures not too shabby there by the lunchtime hour, about lower 80s, and then by the time we're heading back home, temperatures are going to be near 90. So probably not as hot as, say, 100 degrees, but still going to be a little toasty out there with those temperatures into the 80s to near 90. The rain chances, they're still going to stick around the next several days. In fact, I think Monday, tomorrow, is probably going to be the best opportunity at seeing some scattered activity. Things come down Tuesday, we're looking dry there. Then Wednesday, Thursday, some spotty activity. And then the rest of the week looking pretty dry out there. And technically, we've had 19 days that Little Rock has seen 100 degrees and even had some consecutive days in that little 19-day streak. So could we hit another 100-degree day later this week? We'll talk more about that, as well as who could see some more rainfall.
Well, thank you, Noah. A deadly crash on I-430 in Little Rock early Friday morning has left one woman dead and 2 men injured. Arkansas State Police say the crash happened around 2 a.m. And according to ASP, 27-year-old Jamil Trotter of Sherwood was a passenger in a 2006 Honda Civic that was actively fleeing from Little Rock police. State police say the Civic lost control and struck a guardrail before overturning in the northbound lane on I-430 near mile marker 1. A 2023 Honda Pilot traveling northbound then struck the overturned Honda Civic, killing Jamil Trotter. The driver of the Civic, 26-year-old Samuel Shelton, and the driver of the Honda Pilot were both injured and taken to UAMS. At this time, the crash remains under investigation. And 2 former state correctional officers will face prison time for smuggling and contraband. According to the Eastern District of Arkansas U.S. Attorney's Office, there are 2 separate investigations of both officers, Robert Cochran and Tihana Dillard. According to officials, both officers received nearly 150,000 items from inmates' friends and family, including rolling papers, Gucci sunglasses, and over-the-counter drugs. Cochran and Dillard have both been indicted on 1 count of bribery of a public official. Dillard also received another count of false statement to federal agents. Both pleaded guilty and are facing a 30-month sentence. And a K-9 helped uncover major drug seizure after an August 18th traffic stop. Police say Officer Jared Carter deployed K-9 Reaper. This led to the arrest of L.J. Meeks for being in possession of a controlled substance. Authorities obtained a search warrant where they found more than 16 pounds of marijuana, 30 pounds of THC gummies, and more than 100 packages of THC concentrate. Officers seized other drug paraphernalia and more than $400 in cash. Meeks is facing several charges, including simultaneous possession of drugs and a firearm, along with drug paraphernalia possession, among others. And the fight over a Franklin County mega prison is heating up again. The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette reports the state has quietly canceled the 3,000-bed project, citing internal emails from correction officials. But the governor's office is pushing back, saying those documents do not represent a final decision. An April email from a corrections official describes the Franklin County project as canceled. Another internal plan reportedly outlines possible expansion at existing facilities, but does not include a new prison in Franklin County. The governor's office does not dispute the documents, but in a statement, a spokesman called them a, quote, exchange of ideas by staff, not a final policy decision. State Senator Brian Keene has been a vocal of the critic of the plan since the beginning.
We do need to look at facilities up in Northwest Arkansas. When you look at prisoner transport, keeping the inmates closer to home, those are realistic options that we should look at. We need to get out of this mindset of building one mega facility, because you can see other states, those are financial disasters and do not serve the best interests of the citizens.
State lawmakers approved the department's fiscal year funding in March. It includes language that prohibits using funds in the next year to build the Franklin County prison. And for years, maternal health has been a focus for health officials and state leaders looking for ways to improve access to care across Arkansas. This week, those efforts took center stage at a statewide roundtable, bringing health care leaders, lawmakers, and others together with one goal. THV 11's Maya Ellison has more on the subject from the state.
The Arkansas Maternal Health Roundtable is much more than a conversation. As many tell me, it's a collaboration on ways to fix a broader issue.
And we are now down to 30 hospitals that have a labor and delivery department.
That's a harsh reality for a state that health leaders say continues to struggle with maternal health, and one that can make access to care even more difficult, especially in rural communities. Arkansas Hospital Association Executive Vice President Jody Ann Tritt says it's why the people making policy need to hear from the people providing care.
I think having those conversations with the right people in the room, with physicians, with advocates, with federally qualified health centers, of course with hospitals, on the front lines of how we take care of moms when they get to deliver their babies.
Lawmakers, healthcare leaders, and mothers heard from state officials, including Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and DHS Secretary Janet Mann, about issues they're seeing.
Pregnant women are seeking care in multiple locations during their pregnancies, not always the same location or same entity.
Those, like Anna Strong, say that's not the only concern.
It is alarming to look at our infant mortality rates and the percent of moms in our state who are giving birth who may not have optimal health outcomes.
Strong tells me finding a solution lies in advocacy work along with providing support to moms all over the state. But that leaves the question. How do we bridge the gap? What does that look like here in Arkansas?
I think the gap is really that postpartum care that we really need to wrap around in new and innovative ways. We have got to have more touch points, and we've got to have access to an insurance such that they can get the care that they need.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Well, staying in Little Rock, a familiar spot in downtown is getting a new chapter. The former Foursquare Cafe and Gifts is now home to the Library Square bookstore. The store celebrated its grand opening this week with speakers, ribbon cutting, and giveaways as a part of the Central Arkansas Library System, and a new spot to find a discounted reads among thousands of used books. The books are donated by the community throughout CALS, and manager Jessica Scott says that this gives the store something you can't find at a typical bookstore.
A used book has its own personality. You've got the story within the pages, but you've also got the story of the physical book. We have things for kids, we have nonfiction, fiction. It's just so important for people to have access to books and access to literature, regardless of income or any other consideration.
If you're interested in visiting the Library Square bookstore, it will be open on Wednesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from noon to 4 p.m. And Little Rock made headlines early in July after getting a $30 million donation from Jeff Bezos for more than that is going to be needed to make the 30 Crossing Park a reality. July's donation through the Bezos Earth Fund was designed to help with this potential park, but Jack Thomas from the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce says there's more work to be done and it could come in phases.
Ideally, we could get to 100 million and do the whole thing today. I don't think that that's going to be the reality. It's going to take some time to get to that total fundraising target, but over time we can build out individual elements of the park.
Thomas says they plan to raise the additional $70 million through a variety of public and private programs and grants. Some of it will go into endowment to continue to maintain the park and pay for its various costs. And the President and First Lady are taking part in Freedom 250 Grand Prix today in the nation's capital. President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were on hand, as well as members of Trump's family, including Donald Trump Jr. and his wife. Members of Trump's cabinet have assigned roles for the weekend events, and organizers say they expect about 140,000 spectators. Well, finally, Walmart is looking to make a major change regarding the way its customers can pay for their desired items. We have the details still ahead on THV 11 News.